Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome to our next session on ABAP learning series. So today we will discuss the shortcomings of our previous reports. Okay. So without any further delay, let's start today's session. So we have created this program yesterday, right? So let's put a breakpoint over here and put a breakpoint over here. Now execute this program. So we have to select this view because we don't to understand deeply about the screens programs we call program stacks, events and all. Okay, no need to call up anything. So we have just simple code and the variable display over here. Okay, now these are the internal tables, one for SPFLI and one for SFlight. So execute these two select statements. You can see there are 1321 records and this table has 46 records. Okay, now in this loop we are combining the data from both of these tables and putting into a third internal table, that is lt underscore flight underscore detail. Okay, now we are displaying this output. Now I am pressing this F7 or F8 because I don't want to go line by line for these records. Okay, I just want to see the number of records in the output. Okay, now press F7. So here if you see, this LT flight DT has 46 records. Okay, whether this table has 1000 plus records and this is 46 records. So when you combine these records, the number of records could be more, right? Because this is a flight schedule data. Okay, so if you see, this is the carrier ID and this is the connection ID. That doesn't mean it has only one flight. Okay, with this carrier ID, that means let's consider this as a airline ID. Okay, and this is the path. Okay, like New York to New Delhi, so that is a connection ID. Okay, so similarly these are represented as a path. So one carrier can have multiple flights on the same path, right? So that means with respect to this data, we can have multiple records in the SFlight table, correct? Now let's check. So if you see this carrier ID AA and connection ID 17, we have around 28 records. Okay, but in our output we only see one record, because if you open this one, only AA17, only one record is there. That means our data is not correct, or we have many of our data is missing in the report output. Okay, and if you take any business decision on those missing data, then your business is going to be doomed. Okay, so first thing is you need to correct your program. Okay, validate your program, test your program. So the functional consultant has the responsibility to test your program. Okay, but if you give this kind of data to your functional consultant, he will also blast you. He will tell you don't have any idea on basic programming. Okay, so whenever you are doing things, you must be very careful. Okay, now let's see the tables. Okay, this table has this carrier ID, connection ID, and this has also carrier ID, connection ID. Okay, now let's see the foreign key. Okay, so this table has foreign key relation to s under s cat. Okay, so this is the carrier ID table. Okay, let's not discuss about the foreign key and everything right now. Okay, let's keep the things simple as of now. So in our case, we have this lt underscore s flight. So the basic solution to come out of this problem is, first you need to know which has the larger number of entries. Okay, this has the larger number of entries. So that means when you are doing this read table only returns one record, right? Instead of this, we should write something else instead of read statement, so that it will give multiple records in the output, okay, which can be used to fill the output internal table. Okay, so instead of read table, what can we use? So let's see how we can achieve this one. Okay, now execute this one. I'm completely executing this one. Okay, there is some network delay, don't worry. Okay, now going back to the program. So instead of this, I can write, okay, again loop. Okay, okay, so here I have written loop at lt s flight into ls underscore s flight, where carrier id con id equal to this. Okay, so that means whatever the carrier id connection id will be there in ls spfli, we have to find all those kind of records with carrier id and connection id that matches this one record. Okay, now we don't need this one, because if there is no record existing, then it won't go inside the loop. Okay, if any record existing, then only it will go inside this loop. Okay, so that is why we do not need that. Okay, now syntax check, activate. Okay, now execute this one, this program. Okay, sorry guys for the network delay. So if you see, okay, you can see the scroll bar over here. Okay, so you can see previously there are only 46 records. Now you can see the scroll bar size is too small, right? That means it has multiple records. See, there are so many records. Okay, so if we go to the top, let's see how much time it takes to go to the top. Okay, the carrier id is aa and this connection ID is 17. Okay, so with the same set of record, you can see up to this many records, it is belong to one carrier ID and connection ID combinations. And if you see, those flights are scheduled in different dates. Okay, so now you see this result is seeming correct, right? Now let's understand how this logic works. Okay, let's check this one in debugger. Let's put a breakpoint here, execute, go to our view, that is desktop 3, double click on the SPFLI and LT underscore sflight, execute both the select statements. As you can see, it has 46 records and it has 1000 plus records. Okay, now I have sorted this one. Okay, I have sorted both the tables. Previously you might have thinking why I might be doing the sort, right? Because if I don't sort it, the loop at where char id con id I am writing, right, those combinations, if those combinations are at different places, then there might be some chances that some records again get missed. Okay, so that is the reason I have done the sort. Okay, so whenever I loop it based on the carrier id and connection id conditions, it will sequentially loop those records. Okay, so that it don't have to search the records for this particular combinations at different rows of the internal table. Okay, that will make the processing faster. Okay, that is the reason we are doing the sort. Now for the first loop, the site tabix is 1. Okay, so first record has been moved to ls underscore spfli. Okay, okay, this is the carrier id and connection id combinations, and in the next loop it will only loop for the records which has the carrier id AA and connection id is 17. Okay, so as you have sorted it, the first record from this internal table has been selected. Okay, now it goes again to the inner loop. Okay, it is not going the outside, because this lt under slide has around 28 records which has this connection id and carrier id AA and 17. Okay, so if you see in the next loop, it doesn't have to search for any record. Okay, it automatically going to the second record. Okay, similarly second record also has been selected. Okay, so for record each record of this S flight, you are assigning the same value of SPFLI to the final output structure. Okay, Now put a breakpoint here. I am pressing the F7 right now. Okay, that means it will come, it will execute the loop where the carrier ID is AA and connection ID is 17. Okay, so you see the output now, the output has around 1000 plus records. Okay, that means the data selection is more correct than the previous one. And in today's class we already have done the loop inside loop, how it is written. Okay, so hope everyone has a clear understanding. If not, you can rewatch this session and try to practice with the same example. Okay, if you practice with a different example, that is fine, that is much better, but at least you can practice the same example what we have done today. Okay, that will give you enough understanding on how to write this code and all. And today, so till now we have covered the different sections and the structure of our ABAP program. Okay, in our next session we will add few more concepts on this. Okay, so it is going to be interesting and it is going to be more simpler. Okay, see you then on the next class. Till then, take care. Bye.